Good morning, everybody. Oh, geez. It is 6:59. It's almost 7 o'clock. And man, I have an unbelievable schedule that I have to do today. And it's just like, well, I'm just going to get up and make this real short. Last night I was outside and just doing a lot of thinking, and introspection and just going over everything and life and, work and the future and everything like that, the past. And it was so nice out, the weather. So it just seemed like a good night to be outside. And anytime you're like under the moon and stars, it seems to be some kind of, I don't know, it just seems to promote a lot of introspection. And so I was just kind of like pacing, walking around, looking at my empire, and I just was like, I started talking out loud and I was like, you know what, God? I'm like, you're mean. You're a mean bastard when you're not the blessing, good kind of God. I'm like, you really are mean. You are like so cruel. And you're constantly pushing me and forcing me to trust the plan, obey. All these lessons, and one after the other. You give me a day to rest, and then you throw another one in front of me, and it's just like, when do I get to the promised land? It's kind of like Moses, man. Moses was dragging all those people across the desert trying to get them to the promised land, and all he did was complain, bitch, and moan, drag their feet and just cry, and oh my God, and Moses was always like, why do I have to deal with this? Like, just why, why? Then why does God's plans, why do they move so slow, so painfully slow? It's so hard for someone like me because I'm a doer, It's like I get an idea in my head and it's like, all right, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. It doesn't take me fucking days, weeks, months, or whatever to come out with a decision. Just do it, and it's just like you pick a direction and you go. And whatever challenges or whatever, hiccups you meet along the way, you deal with it, and it's just like there's just no expectation that it's not going to be bumpy, and you just go. I was a sergeant in the Army. I've always led crews and, run a business, and just this slow walking, this just is so painful, is so hard. I don't know how anyone can do this. It's just absolutely tears my brain apart. I just can't deal with it, And it just seems like so far, everything that's God related, source related, is painfully, God awfully slow. And God puts people in your life, then takes them out, puts new people in, takes them out. It's just like, what the hell, man? Come on. It's like you put them there and now you take them away, and it's like, time to take a test. Got to write all the things you're thinking down. You have to analyze everything. It's just this endless cycle of tests and burdens. It's just so crazy. It's just like, I don't know. It's like you feel like God is maybe just testing your faith. God is testing your resilience. And it's just like, can you imagine if you treated all of your relationships in your life the way God treats yours with him? Holy crap. That's what I told him last night. I was like, this is insane. I'm like, well, if I did this with my daughter, she would pack her bags and leave. I would never see her again. I was like, this is insane. No answer. You know, the answer is always it's trust the plan. Have faith and be still. Be still, my son. Be still, my son. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta be still. I've got all this work that has to be done. And there are enough hours in the day to do it. I got all this new business banging on my door, and it's like, what the hell? Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. You know, and I'm taking my shower this morning and I'm just thinking about this in the shower, and I'm just thinking about God's crazy. He's just batshit crazy except when he's not. And what a crazy relationship, man. It's always been this way too with God. I've had all my life, you know. I remember when oh damn, this is so hard. When my grandfather died. This man was like the best man. Crap. He was like the cream of the crop. He had MS, multiple sclerosis. And he got it in his 20s, you know. And he had 3 kids and his wife. And this disease took his mobility away from him. And over the years, he just was forced to live in a wheelchair. And by the time I came around into the world, you know, he was not walking at all, not with a walker or anything like that. And he had to have a lot of assistance to get things done. And then as I got older, he was deteriorating. He was he was like the best man on earth. Better than my father. Better than everybody. He was so kind. He was so gentle. So peaceful. He just listened to audiobooks, and I never saw somebody who was challenged with so much, but had so much grace. I never saw him complain. I never saw my grandma complain. She had to take care of him. She had to do everything for him. And I mean, everything. When he had to go to the bathroom, she had to do it. She would have to clean him. She had to feed him. He couldn't do anything. His hands would shake so much that he couldn't hold a fork. He couldn't hold a spoon and load it with food and put it to his mouth. He couldn't brush his teeth. Prisoner in his own body. And the last 3 years of his life, spent in a nursing home. This teeny tiny room in the hospital bed with all these other people who dying. This place smelled so bad. It was awful. I loved visiting him, but I hated having to go there to visit him. And it was really hard. And I remember I'd be talking to God and I'd be like, why? Why? Why him? And I used to say, like, take some health from me and give it to him so that he could get better. And I would offer up all my chores and things I had to do as penance for him. Because my dad told me that, God could heal him. And I believed it. I believed that God would heal him. And so I used to check with my grandma, It's like, do you think Grandpa's getting better? Do you think he's healing? Is he going to walk again? And she would say, yes, I think so. He seemed good today. So I was believing. I was believing that the things I was doing, that the good feelings that I had and the love that I had for him, that was helping him. And then when he died, I exploded. I exploded on God. I told God to go fuck himself. And I told God, you're a mean bastard. You lied to me. You made me think he was going to get better. You let me think that. I tore my room apart. I broke my bed. And I started a long road of, I decided that day I was going to turn my back on God. And I didn't talk to God again for so many years, over 10. And let me get the lights on again. Can't understand the ways of God. God can bring so many blessings into your life and then also deliver these guillotine the way God does. And then you look in the Bible, look at the Old Testament, you see how God would just wipe out entire cities. Men, women, children, babies, it didn't matter. Angels would come and slaughter everyone. And so I've had this rocky relationship with God all my life. On and off. It's just so paradoxical, because God's real. You can see the evidence of it so plain, so clear, especially this last year. I mean, there's no question in my mind, you know. And when I just talking to God last night, you know, and it's just like, why? And the only answer I keep getting is that, you know, it's trying to grow me into some kind of person that's so strong, the strongest, maybe the strongest man in the world, you know. And I'm like, I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough. I want some soft stuff in my life. I want some softness. I want some beauty, some love. Where is that? When? You know? I know I'm not alone in this. So many of you out there are facing the same battle, same on again, off again relationship with the big man upstairs. And how do you keep your sanity, your grace, your composition? How do you keep all of that, you know, while all of this is happening? And it's a challenge some days, isn't it? It really is, to keep that smile, to keep that faith, to be friendly still, to love. It really is hard sometimes. Man. But anyway, is God mean? Yeah. Yeah, he is. God is mean. He's mean as hell, except when he's not. That's what it all comes down to. Oh, man. Anyway, I just wanted to put that down. It looks like my daughter's looking for me, so I need to go out there and see what's up. The workday begins. I love you guys. I hope all is well. I'll see you next time.